What's going on, guys? It's Jake Camaro here with another episode of Initial Thoughts. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Zombies portion of the Vengeance DLC for Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which was released on July 2nd, 2013 for the Xbox 360 and in August for the PS3 and the PC. Finally, this entire DLC containing both the Zombies portion, which I'm going to talk about right now, as well as 4 multiplayer maps, is available for $15 if you do not own the Season Pass, and of course, if you get the Season Pass, which is $50, you get all 4 of the DLCs for Call of Duty Black Ops 2, including this one. So I talked about the 4 multiplayer maps for Vengeance a couple days ago. Actually, if I upload this video when I hope I'm going to, it would actually have been yesterday, so I got a pretty good turnaround on this. I actually just recorded this gameplay earlier today. But a lot of my friends like Buried, and we're going to go into it. But anyway, the map's called, if you didn't just hear that, Buried, and it returns the 4 characters from the original Transit map as well as the Die Rise map. And this is actually their last outing in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 in the latest DLC, the Zombies map for that one, Origins. They are not in it, so this is the last time you see the characters in the game, unless Treyarch decides to release another map pack, which they definitely won't because Call of Duty Ghosts is fast approaching. But anyway, so this map places you in this old dig site and in the underground area where there's actually like a western type town that you get to explore in and stuff. So we're starting out right here. There's like an upper platform area where you start off in the map, and while you're here, you can get the first few kills, buy a couple guns off the wall, and actually, if you make this jump, you can buy the LSAT pretty early, which you actually do right before we go down, and then you go down the slide to begin the actual get into the actual map. But so every single Zombies map has kind of introduced a new gameplay element. In Transit, it was the bus, like hopping between each little map area. In Die Rise, it was the elevators. In Mob of the Dead, it was the ghost, like afterlife mode, where you could go and like shock things. And in this one, it's a very different new gameplay element. This is kind of the main new thing in this is the this large giant type character, and he's very timid, and he doesn't really like coming out of his like cage area, which you'll see him in a little while once we go down into the actual map. This is just the beginning area. But you need him to pretty much unlock any portion of the map. He's pretty much gigantic, and you have to bribe him with booze and candy, which is an interesting combination. But you have to go to like the candy store and get some candy, and booze is hidden around the map. But you need those to get him to come out of his cage and help you get into different areas around the map. Because if you do not use him, you really are screwed. You can't get to any of the power-ups like Pack Punch and Jug and all those perk machines. And then you can't unlock certain portions of the map, even though in some places you will have to still buy them. But so that's interesting, and I think that the idea of it's a good idea, but it's just kind of frustrating having to bring him everywhere, because the problem is that if he gets shot once, even by you or by a zombie or whatever, even just one bullet barely like piercing him, he goes off, like goes and cries and goes back into his cage, and you have to go get the booze again and let him out. It's very convoluted and really annoying, especially on the larger maps, because you need to keep him close by to protect him, as well as not shoot him, because if you shoot him, then you have to start all over again, and then if you shoot him, you can run back into his like jail cell area, and if somebody stays in there, he won't lock it, but that's a little annoying to do. And he's just not that easy to control, because you have to like mark different areas for him to run into, because there's like rocks and stuff in front of like certain parts of the map that needs to go through before you can get into them. And to do that is just really annoying, and it's really hard. And then you'll actually see it a couple times in this gameplay. He gets shot a lot. You know, he just runs out in front of you, and you accidentally just shoot him once. Or one time, I think I just shot him like as there was a zombie like right next to him, and it still registered the hit for him. And I don't know, I just don't like that aspect, and I think really the tone among my friends is definitely the same, and we've definitely not been playing on Buried that much because of this new gameplay element that's just not really that fun. It kind of restricts you into kind of making it like an escort mission, like babysitting this not zombie, this giant in the zombie apocalypse, and I don't know, it's just not that much fun. That's pretty much all I have to say to it. It's just not really that much fun. Right here, I get the LSAT, and you go down the slide. But anyway, we'll get back into that in a second. But right here, there's a new element called like wall chalk, and you pretty much have to find guns around the map that are like lined in chalk, and then you pick those up and go to like a chalk site with like a question mark. You have to write on it, and you get 500 points, and then the wall gun becomes available for purchase, which is definitely cool. But really, it comes down to us never even really putting them down because the box is right here. So odds are, when we get a new gun that's better than the wall guns, there's no real purpose for us to go back and put down all the chalk except to receive money and stuff, because you do get 500 points or credits, whatever they call it in zombies, which is pretty convenient. But I don't know, we just didn't really do it that often. But here you are in like the main street area. We're just rolling the box right here, and this is definitely a little bit of a darker map. You're kind of inside, and it's a little harder to see some areas. But it's not that big of a deal. It's an interesting area. It's kind of like this old Western themed area that's underground. I don't really understand how it would get underground. But maybe you guys have an idea of how it would be able to. But it's a pretty fun map to play around. But it's very separated. So right here you're in Main Street, well, the Main Street area, and there's this area blocking the way right here, and over behind that is actually a playable section of the map, but you have to go all the way around to get over there, and it just feels very like a puzzle to get around an area that's not really, you don't really think it would be very easy, and zombies really come from everywhere. They come up from under the ground and stuff. But pretty soon we're going to go into the jail cell area and get the giant out. As you can see, that right there with the lights and stuff, that's the area that indicates an area where he has to actually plow down himself. There's no way you can actually do that. You have to indicate to him to go down. First you have to get a key to let him out, and then he has to push it down, and then he can finally you and him can finally get out of there. But anyway, so definitely the giant is not the best part of the map. And it kind of ruins the experience a little bit, but it's just kind of frustrating that you have to do all this, and it kind of takes away from the whole, zombie killing, tactical survival type theme of Call of Duty, Black Ops and zombies or anything like that. So that's kind of disappointing. But all the guns that you've seen from the past have come back, except for you got a couple new ones. So first, it's this revolver. It's kind of like the Python, and it's a very powerful revolver, and I don't actually pick it up in this, but it's pretty cool to use. I think one of my friends here get it, and it's a pretty powerful gun. It's only a box gun, and then another cool new weapon is this. It shoots like a purple wave. It's a very rare weapon to receive in this, but it kind of shoots like a purplish wave against the zombies, and it kind of like holds them up in the air or stops them for other people to kill them. The only problem with that is that you always need somebody else to kill them. That weapon isn't lethal whatsoever, so you're going to need someone else to go and actually kill the zombies, which can definitely get a little annoying in later rounds where, one person's alive trying to rescue the rest of you and revive you. But instead, one of his guns he just can't use because he needs someone else to help him out with it. And then the third new weapon in this is by far the best. It's the Ray Gun Mark II. It has a little longer barrel than the normal ray gun. You can get it through the box, and it was actually added to all of the other zombies maps, so you can get it in those now, which is pretty cool. Something to take back from this DLC and use it in the other zombies maps, which I always like when you can take elements of one DLC and spread it across the rest of the game. I was a big fan of that in Battlefield 3 with the weapons and such. But so it's a very powerful weapon. I think it's definitely more powerful than the original ray gun, which is still present in the in Buried and then all the other maps where the ray gun Mark II is added. But it's actually a three round burst gun, and so it's very much meant for training zombies together and just mowing them all down. But you don't actually get that much ammo. On paper, you get a lot. I think you get 21 rounds in each clip, and I think you have about 140 rounds total. But it runs dry really fast, so it's definitely a gun that you're going to only want to use in emergency situations, or you're just running around using it conservatively, trading zombies, making every shot count. Right here, the giant accidentally got hit. Now he's in his jail cell, and I have to stay back here to escort him. But there's a little misunderstanding, and it didn't really turn out that well. So that's the new weapons. I think the ray gun Mark II may be my favorite part of this DLC. I think that the map is okay. It's convoluted, but I think it's a cool theme, and the gameplay elements are interesting. But I think what I definitely took away from this map the most is just the new weapon, and it's really fun to use. I pick it up a little bit later in this gameplay, but I don't have enough time to show you because I can only talk about this map for so long. I recorded about 40 minutes of gameplay, and I usually only use about 12 to 13 minutes of it, of any real gameplay for that matter. But yes, those are pretty much all the new aspects of the map. The map is actually quite big. You go into a separate area to pack a punch, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. If you want, you can look it up somewhere else. But it's a really cool map. Design in general is just a little bit confusing to navigate. But finally, we're just going to get into should you buy this the Vengeance DLC specifically for Buried, and I really don't think so. I think Buried is an okay zombies map. It's not a terrible zombie map, but it's just not really my favorite. And of course, this is my opinion, and maybe you think differently about your opinion of this of Buried. But for me, I have not played Buried that much. And after Origins comes out, I came to my friends and I'm like, hey, do you want to record some Buried gameplay? I need it for my my YouTube channel, my initial thoughts. And they were kind of apprehensive about it, and they just don't really like that much, and neither do I. So I suggest if you got the map for the four multiplayer DLCs, I mean, if you got the DLC for the 4 multiplayer maps, you should try out Buried. But if you're a zombies nut and you're pretty much only buying all of these Call of Duty Black Ops 2 DLCs specifically for zombies maps, I definitely wouldn't recommend doing it this time. Buried, for me, isn't my favorite. For other people, it may be differently, but I just didn't really play it that much, and I think there's just, now that we're pretty late into Black Ops 2's DLC lifespan, there's just a lot better zombies maps to play. So that's pretty much the end of the video. If you guys liked it, please thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.